All right, let's go ahead and organize our layers and make a few little finishing touches and then review what we have done so far. All right, well, in regards to organization, I'm going to go ahead and name this top layer by double-clicking on the name there, border or edge. Next, I'm going to click in that border or edge layer and then hold in the Shift key and click in my bottommost layer where I've affected the light and then press Command-G on a Mac, Control-G on a PC. I'm going to go ahead and name this one R8-Light. Now that I've done that, I want to turn this on and off. So here's my before and then after. Okay, well, just kind of some fun with light there. Not essential adjustments, but some interesting ones. One of the things I'm noticing, though, is that the eye has become too soft. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Add Layer Mask icon, grab my brush tool, and here I'm just going to paint with black, and I'm going to paint with black at 100% opacity. I don't want that diffuse light to fall across the face there. I'm also going to remove a little bit of the lens flare reflections there. Then I'm going to go ahead and press 5 to go to 50%, and just remove a little bit more of this part where it brightened up that background a little bit, and just tuck that in just a touch there. Here's before and after. Shift click that mask, and you can see the before and after. Again, that shortcut's really helpful. If you hold down the Shift key and click on that layer mask, you can turn that mask on and off or disable it or enable it in order to see your before and after. And that little adjustment was pretty important in regards to our light layer. Now, the nice thing about this as well is having this as an entire group is we can modify all of these adjustments at once if we want to just pull all of these effects back a little bit, which might be kind of nice, right? Just a little bit more subtle with everything that we've done. Or, of course, we can always go into our specific layers. All right, well, in my case, I'm just going to back that off just a touch there, just to blend that in a little bit. And now I want to evaluate the progress so far. We'll go ahead and press the Tab key. And the Tab key will minimize the interface. Press the F key to go to full screen view mode. Then we'll press the F7 key to bring up our layers panel. I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can see this photograph a little bit more closely here. And then we're going to go ahead and turn off the visibility of all of our layers. And here was the original file as started. We did a little bit of cleanup work. And that cleanup work, if we zoom in a bit more perhaps, that cleanup work was really essential. Then from there we did a little bit more cleanup work. And from there to there, already the image is just so much better. And then from that point, we went and started to take down some of the brightness values there, just evening tones out. And a lot of times what happens is we stop here, we think, okay, yeah, the retouching's pretty good. But no, we don't stop there. We keep going. And at this point, what we started to do is something really interesting. And in these layers, one of the things that we needed to do was just to even out the tone. We haven't done any, quote, skin smoothing yet, but we begun to even out the tone. Then I started to work on that lip, and I wasn't quite satisfied with that. Remember, we had to do a little bit of restructuring with that and a little bit of liquefy. And it was all those different steps together that led to the best results. And then we had a little bit of a darkening shadow. We ended up not using that particular layer, I don't think, but we have that in there if we ever wanted to go back and turn it on. All right, next we turned on this layer where we worked on eyes and some of the small details, and we can see that those little details and wrinkles and whatnot helped out. And then here's where we brighten up our eyes and then worked on some of the skin smoothing. Pretty subtle yet significant skin smoothing there. And then finally, a little bit of work on light. Now at that point, we've come to the wrap up of this photograph. There's only a little bit more that I would like to do with this image. So I'm going to click on my curves adjustment layer icon. And a lot of times what happens is when you get to the final step of your photograph, you begin to see things that you wouldn't have otherwise seen by going through that comparative analysis. One of the things I want is a little bit more density here. So I'm going to go ahead and create this layer. Press Command-I on a Mac, Control-I on a PC. Grab my brush tool by pressing the B key. Press 5 to paint with 50% opacity. And if I want to select white, I don't have my layers panel up, I hit the D key. And then I paint once. If it's not white, well, then I hit the X key and I paint again. So in this case, I can see that I'm painting with white here. And again, just bringing in a little bit more density to this portion of the photograph. And it's a real subtle little adjustment before and after. But just kind of realized I wanted to bring that down just a touch. And here I can control how far that comes down. And I'll just do a little subtle adjustment there. Click on my mask, hit the X key, paint away. I just want a little bit more on the eye for some reason. All right, my before and then after. And then our overall before and after, let's take a look. Here is our before and then after. And that wraps up our work on this photograph.